Hello, magical people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Meg Moonbeam, and we're going to get into Mercury and Jupiter retrograde survival guide for the collective and all 12 signs, as well as our weekly astro weather for the week ahead of Sunday, November 9th, going into Saturday, November 16th. Thank you all so much for joining me, whether you're in the live crew or you're in our replay crew. Hope everybody is doing well out there in these crazy ass times. Really appreciate if you press the like button, hit subscribe, and consider leaving a comment below to help with the channel's growth. That would be greatly appreciated. I will be putting timestamps in the description box of this video after I've completed it, so you can go to each of the 12 signs, see the different time markers for this video. And also want to share that I'm very excited for this week ahead because I will be launching access to sign up for my annual 2026 astrology predictions webinar for all 12 signs. So the dates are actually going to be, I can tell you guys the dates right now. I've been getting some emails, some people asking me about that. Let me check that. I do something that I don't know any other astrologer that does what I do. I might be the only astrologer that does it this way. Maybe there's another one that does it the same way. But what I like to do is I like to do the 2026 predictions live. It takes me 4 days to go through all 12 signs and do the collective year overview as well. So just to give you guys the dates, and I think Thursday I will be launching access to sign up, so you guys can stay tuned for that. So for those of you who have been asking, it's going to be Thursday, December 4th, Friday, December 5th, Sunday, December 7th, and Monday, December 8th, my 2026 predictions webinar for all 12 signs. So I will share that with you all when it is live. And also want to give a shout out to my husband, Jens, who has a really cool online live lecture coming up in 13 days. This is going to be on Sunday, November, is it 23rd? Yeah, Sunday, November 23rd. Human evolution, lies, truth, and destiny. For those of you who have never listened to one of Jens's lectures before, he is really, really amazing at what he does. Conspiracy research extraordinaire, as I like to call him. So this is going to be a really cool online lecture all about the truth of human evolution. So you can go sign up at the link below. Very proud of Yenzi for the work he puts into his lecture on subjects that a lot of other people are scared sometimes to touch. So, okay, how's everybody doing out there? Hello, Chrissy. Oh, thank you so much. Love you. And MJ, thank you so much for the super chat. That's so sweet. I hope you guys like my updated background. So Samhain, Halloween has passed. We are still in Scorpio season, but I have done a little bit of like a solstice-y, Christmassy background. I know it's a little early for Christmas, well, winter solstice, but Jens and I are going to be traveling for like 2 months in December. 3 months? Like 2.5 months over the winter. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put these Christmas solstice decorations up now because you guys are going to see a lot of different backgrounds in the videos in December, January, and February. We're going to be traveling to the States, Alberta, Toronto, different places. So really excited. Yes, Yule is coming. And I like the silver and the brightness. I love the energy of actually the winter solstice and Christmas, the holidays. It's very light. It's very high vibration, of course, connected to the Christ consciousness. So I am here for that. Okay, so let's get into our weekly astro weather for the week ahead, which will include the Mercury retrograde with the Jupiter retrograde. And then we'll get into readings for each of the 12 individual sun, moon, and rising signs for the Mercury retrograde and Jupiter retrograde that is starting. So this is an interesting week because We have Mercury and Jupiter both going retrograde. Okay, two planets. And one of the inner planets, which the inner planets have a really big influence over us. It's a really big deal when we've got one of the inner planets going retrograde. Of course, the outer planets have an influence as well, but we can feel them a lot more in our day to day retrogrades when it's the inner planets like Mercury, Venus, or Mars. So we've got two retrogrades. We've also got Mercury conjunct Mars happening aspect and Sun trine Jupiter. Woohoo! We've got a really positive aspect. Oh, can you guys hear me? My connection just got lost for a moment there. Speaking of Mercury retrograde, if somebody wouldn't mind giving me a 5 by 5, that would be greatly appreciated just because I don't want to say anything that if nobody can hear me. It's showing that I'm live, but I saw that I glitched out there. Okay, 5 by 5. Thank you guys so much. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, yeah, there you go. Mercury retrograde. And actually, Mercury went retrograde today, Sunday, November 9th, right at the time of I was supposed to go live, but I was a little bit late of around 2 p.m. Eastern. So, Mercury has now stationed retrograde. All right, we're going to talk about what that's all about. And also in the week ahead, we will be having the moon transiting through the signs of Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. So, yeah, we're going to start off by talking about this Mercury retrograde, which I think is actually going to be um, a very strong one. And of course, there's challenges that come with Mercury being retrograde, but I'm also excited for this Mercury retrograde. I think that there can be some really beautiful opportunities, insights, breakthroughs, moving past stagnation that can happen with this Mercury retrograde, particularly when it moves into the sign of Scorpio as of November 19th. So Mercury has stationed retrograde at 6 degrees of Sagittarius and will be going retrograde until 20 degrees of Scorpio. If you have any placements between 6 degrees of Sag to 20 degrees of Scorpio, you will be feeling this transit very, very strong. Also, if you are a Gemini or Virgo rising or sun, Mercury is your planetary ruler. So you also get very affected by the Mercury retrogrades, and things can feel a little bit wonky. Okay, so I'm sure most of you guys have heard of the term Mercury retrograde before. This is when we can have wonkiness, weirdness in our mercurial areas of life. We want to double check. Please, for the love of God, everybody, double check your travel plans. And I don't mean to sound like a negative Nancy Scorpio over here, but I'm just going to be honest that there will be changes to travel plans. Maybe not every single travel plan, but as we've been in the pre-shadow period of this Mercury retrograde, we've had many airlines cancel flights, delay flights. There's issues going on with the whole travel industry in the US and actually all over the world as well. So be prepared for plans to possibly change. Okay. Interweb Life 7 says, I have a Mercury retrograde. Nothing I haven't seen. Well, it's really interesting because most people I know that were born with Mercury retrograde don't really feel the influence of it. Let me know in the comments below if you were born with Mercury retrograde, because I've noticed a lot of you guys don't even feel it, which is kind of cool, but the rest of us really feel it. So double check travel plans. Miscommunication is more likely. Okay, so we want to be really mindful what we're communicating, why we're feeling to communicate certain things. We want to back up devices, take care of gadgets, take care of our vehicles or our cars. If you've been putting off getting an oil change, if you've been putting off changing the tires, Mercury retrograde, you guys, is actually a really good time to get things done that we've been putting off. Okay. So some people think that when Mercury is retrograde, you don't do anything and just batten the hatches and stay at home. No, Mercury retrograde is actually a really good time to get things done that you've been putting off, procrastinating on, that has not been, tied up loose ends. That is a tied up loose end. There's my Mercury retrograde brain. So, yeah, we don't want to be starting anything new that we didn't think about before the retrograde. Okay. So let's say during this Mercury retrograde, you're a Sagittarius with Mercury right conjunct your sun, and you're like, you know what? I'm from Texas, and I'm going to move to Portugal. I'm doing it right now, and I'm booking my plane ticket right now. And I think I've met the love of my life online, even though I've never met him. No, okay, that's not a good idea. When Mercury's retrograde, we want to hold off on major decisions, on starting new things that we have just come up with or that have just come into our sphere during the Mercury retrograde until after Mercury goes direct. So this retrograde is going to be from today, Sunday, November 9th, until November 29th, almost all of November. It's not the best time to travel, but if you absolutely have to, definitely get the travel insurance, definitely double check everything, definitely have a backup plan. Okay. Um, Chaska says, what are the best shoes for Mercury retrograde? Maybe like grounding shoes from earthing.com. I'm not sponsored by them, but just saying something that keeps us grounded, and we're going to need it for sure. We can also see during Mercury retrograde themes coming back from our past. We can feel more nostalgic. Mercury rules our mind in medical astrology and our thoughts. So we can be thinking about the past, thinking about past situations, rewinding things in our head. We can have people, places, things from the past coming back into the present. Now, just because somebody is coming back from the past does not mean that they have to be in your life, that you have to have a love relationship or friendship, with them. So please be very discerning during this Mercury retrograde, especially because Mercury is what we call at detriment in Sagittarius. So Mercury is actually at one of his least favorite positions in Sagittarius. Why is this? Mercury is common sense, right? So Mercury is, okay, maybe you met some hot guy online, and they live in Portugal, but if you've never actually met them, you have no idea how that's going to be unless you actually physically meet them in person, right? Mercury in Sagittarius, and it's funny because I actually have Mercury in Sagittarius, and I did go through at one point in my life. I thought I was in love with someone that I'd never met. I actually went through this situation, which is really embarrassing to say, but just being honest with you guys, because Sagittarius is not common sense. It's our higher mind, our higher consciousness. It's expansion. It's going past the common sense, right? So sometimes we're more likely to miss common sense, little details, being grounded with Mercury in Sagittarius. So I actually think while Mercury is in Sagittarius from November 9th to November 19th, this is actually going to be, in my astrological opinion, more challenging than when Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio from November 19th to 29th. And I'm going to get into why that is exactly. We're going to have a beautiful grand water trine. I'll get into that, including Mercury. But also Mercury is a detriment in Sag. So it can be clouding our judgment. We might not be thinking clearly. We might be too optimistic about something, right? So what does it mean specifically while Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius? This is a time where it's an opportunity to review outdated beliefs, courses, teachers, guides, international living situations, international travel, people, and things in our lives. And there is going to be a lot of really hot debates in the collective and maybe some feistiness. We're starting this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius in a conjunction to Mars, and we're actually going to have this exact Mercury Mars conjunction on Wednesday. So this week, Wednesday in particular, and the exact days surrounding it, but really all of the week we're in the influence of this, there can be very heated debates around our beliefs. This is how it is because I told you so. No, this is how it is because I heard Jordan Peterson say that. No, this is how it is because I heard Candace Owen say that. No, he's an Israeli asset. No, she's not. Watch out for this. Okay. You are going to see people and even notice it within yourself where you can feel really stuck on beliefs. And we may be arguing about these beliefs. Mercury conjunct Mars this week. We may be having very heated debates. We may be having ego checks. Mars can have to do with the ego checks, right? So, definitely our beliefs are changing. And this is a really good time while Mercury is retrograde to try your best to listen. Listen when people talk. Listen when people share their point of view. Even if you completely disagree with them, maybe they have a point about something. Or maybe you just need to listen really deeply to really resonate with the fact that, you know, you don't align with what they're saying at all. So I think in the public stage, in the media, all that jazz, and in our personal lives, very heated debates, can even be some conflict, potential conflict with Mercury rules, friends, siblings, neighbors, people in our day-to-day environments. And, if you've had a little ego outburst based on a belief, it's good to check yourself, maybe say sorry, cool the air, right? We're all wrong about things sometimes. Also, while Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, major travel disruptions can occur. And I saw something today. Let me bring this up. Travel. I think it's because of the government shutdown, right, you guys? Flight delays of 2 hours or more at the Newark airport because of as government shutdown snarls air traffic. Yeah, so if any of you guys are planning travel this week or, actually the whole next 3 weeks while Mercury is aired, I'm hearing spirit say, have a backup plan. You may have to take the train. You may have to take the bus, which I know that might annoy a lot of people because we're so used to having air travel, especially I know American Thanksgiving. Shout out to all our American friends and family out there. I'm a Canadian gal. You guys have your Thanksgiving. Is that like the second last week of November or the last week of November? So that's going to be very fun for all y'all because that's going to be a little bit of a crazy town. Laura says planes, trains, and automobiles. I love that movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with John Candy and Steve Martin. I've probably seen that, I don't even know how many times. That's a hilarious movie. And some of us might be actually going through some plane, trains, and automobile moments. If you guys have never seen this movie, it's such a funny movie where the plane doesn't work and then the train breaks down and then the bus doesn't, I can't remember what happens to the bus. Then they try driving and then doesn't the car blow up or something like that? It's just freaking hilarious. So if this happens to any of you guys, if you do have travel planned over the next few weeks, it's normal to get angry. There's nothing wrong with getting frustrated, all that stuff. But what is this different situation maybe trying to show you if you have to take a train or a plane? Maybe you don't like taking planes and you have to take a plane, or you have to take a bus, or you have to rent a car. Maybe try looking at the positive of that because there can be something totally new that you can learn. You might go see the coolest place in your life, the coolest town in your life that you never even knew existed, or might learn something new. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of planes, trains, and automobiles situation. Oh my God. But I do like when Mercury moves into Scorpio. Sexy Scorpio. It's going to be a lot easier. And did I not bring up a chart for Mercury going back into Scorpio? Jeez Louise. Okay, bear with me. Uno momento, you guys. Another Mercury retrograde moment. I need to bring up a different chart here. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to do this manually. I want to bring up, let me bring up, actually, no, I know how to do this the easy way. The new moon in Scorpio chart. Okay, let me bring this one up. Where do I have that? Here it is. Okay, just like to show you guys things visually. Okay, here we go. Chaska says extra Xanax for Thanksgiving, traveler's mix with 2 shots of Havana Club. Oh my God. Okay. I personally wouldn't recommend that. That's definitely okay. You definitely want to be mindful of stuff like that while Mercury is retrograde too, because Mercury is our mind and our thoughts. And especially while Mercury is a detriment in Sagittarius, anything that is mind altering can affect you even more while Mercury is retrograde. So here we're just going to move a moment to this is the chart for November 20th when we have a beautiful new moon in Scorpio. I think it's actually one of the most positive new moons of the year because this is the time around this time between November 19th and 29th when Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. So, what I like about when Mercury goes retrograde into Scorpio is we have this beautiful grand water trine between Mercury, actually the sun, as well the moon, actually at the new moon in Scorpio, it's with Mercury, the sun, and the moon. But there's going to be about a week period where we've got Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. They're all retrograde, but they're all in this beautiful grand water trine, positive aspect pattern, supporting each other. So I think there can be amazing breakthroughs when Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio. And Spirit wants me to repeat this again. Okay, Mercury retrograde is not a good time to be starting something new, but it is a good time to be taking care of things that we have put aside, that we have not finished, that we have procrastinated on. Okay, so I'm actually excited because there's some things that I'm really behind on personally that I love the energy of Mercury retrograde for getting really into my personal zone, getting things done that need to get done. And in particular, Scorpio has to do with psychology, psychotherapy, our healing journey, our taxes, investments, hidden money, inheritances, retirement funds, budgeting. So I actually think while Mercury is retrograde, it's a good time to review your finances. It's a good time to get caught up on financial things that maybe you've been putting to the side. And we are definitely going to be having miraculous, very big secrets being revealed while Mercury, the planet of truth, information, is retrograde in Scorpio, the sign that rules secrets. What kind of secrets? Let me know in the chat. What kind of secrets do you guys think might come up while Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio? There's 2 people that I think are going to be really highlighted. 2 Scorpios. Anybody have any idea who I'm thinking about? 2 sketchy Scorpios, 2 snaky Scorpios. They're not phoenixes, they're not eagles, they're snaky Scorpios. One's a man, one's a woman. There's probably other ones as well, but these were the ones when I was looking through the charts that really came into my mind. I don't see Laura says, Big Mike. I actually don't know Big Mike's chart. I feel like I've maybe looked at that before. Have to look at that. Joan, you're correct. Hillary, Lisa, you're correct. Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. And you know what's really interesting? I learned this today. Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton have the exact same Mercury placement. They both have Mercury at 21 degrees of Scorpio. Now, Mercury is going to be retrograde from 6 degrees of Sagittarius until 20 degrees of Scorpio. Isn't it interesting? Hillary and Joe both have, so this is Joe's chart. This is actually his transit chart with his birth chart placements here in the white, transits out in the blue. His is in his 12th house. He's got a Scorpio stellium in the 12th house. I mean, that can be really scary if that's in the unconscious version. He was born with Mercury direct, 21 degrees of Scorpio. Hillary was born with Mercury retrograde, 21 degrees of Scorpio. Conjunct her south node, of course. So I feel there's definitely going to be big things coming out about Hillary, regarding Hillary and Joe Biden during this Mercury retrograde period. For Hillary, it's having to do with, because she's got her Mercury in the 6th house, having to do with her health. Does anybody remember when she passed out? Remember when she was on the presidential trail? Wasn't it when she was on the presidential trail? Correct me, you guys, if I'm wrong. Let me see if I can bring up a clip where she was there were all these clips of her spazzing out at public events. Do any of you guys? Here's a clip of that. Let me zoom in where somebody's holding her. Like there was obviously something health-wise going on. And I heard somebody recently talking about this. Can't remember what it was, but her health is going to come up. Her work, 6th house of Virgo, is also work. What she did at work that was maybe secrets or possible crimes. Scorpio. 6th house can also deal with employees, co-workers, right? Maybe somebody is going to speak up. Maybe there's going to be like a Project Veritas thing of a employee or a, co-worker, associate of Hillary Clinton, or maybe they'll speak out another way. With Joe, his Mercury is in Scorpio in the 12th house. So that also can have to do with your health. That also can have to do with behind the scenes. What was done behind the scenes? Mercury having to do with auto pens. I think the whole auto pen situation is definitely going to be coming up for sure. I know a lot of you guys have already heard about that. And actually, really weird, this week, no, not this week, last week, Jens and I were out for dinner and we were sitting next to these guys that were talking about how they worked in the government. They were different, like embassy ambassadors. And one of them said, I could overhear him saying that his friend is in really big shit right now because of the auto pen with Joe Biden. So that was weird that I was at dinner and I could hear like little bits of him talking about that. So for those of you who haven't heard about the auto pen, let me bring this up. Really big deal. The Biden auto pen presidency decline, delusion, and deception in the White House. So for those of you who don't know, somebody was signing Joe Biden's name with an auto pen illegally, pretending to be him throughout his presidency. The biggest political scandal in American presidential history. Who was signing the auto pen? I think that could be coming up, this Mercury retrograde. Big time. And also maybe some other surprising things that we're not aware of. Scorpio can be a very dramatic sign, but I think those 2 people will be very highlighted. And also something else I wanna bring up. Bear with me 1 second, you guys. There's something about I was feeling this intuitively as I was preparing for today's video. This is our first Scorpio season of our lives with Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto is out of bounds. So Pluto is very unpredictable, very shocking, very weird. This is our first Mercury retrograde in Scorpio during a Scorpio season in our lives with Pluto in Aquarius and out of bounds. And I was just feeling intuitively, like earlier, about we've lived through, well, maybe not everybody who's alive right now. Maybe you're really a young person. You might be a really young person listening to this video born after 1995. But if you were born before 1995, like myself, we have experienced Pluto in Scorpio transit. And for many of our lifetimes, we've actually lived through Pluto and Scorpio from 1983 to 1995. And I just have this feeling that this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio during a Scorpio season with Pluto and Aquarius and out of bounds, it's going to bring up deep hidden truths and secrets about the time Pluto was in Scorpio from 1983 to 1995. So what I want to do here, I know some of you guys don't like AI. For me as an astrologer, this is helpful when I need to do research and not spend hours and hours doing things. So I'm just going to ask ChatGPT, what are notable, or how should I say, historical events that took place between 1983 and 1995. So these are the years Pluto was in Scorpio, at home in Scorpio. Oh, interesting. 1983, Cold War tensions, invention of the Internet's core protocol, ARPANET, marking the birth of the modern internet. I never even heard about that. Apple launched the Macintosh. Oh, shit. I did not know that that happened while Pluto was in Scorpio. Maybe major truths being revealed about Mac, Apple. We had Live Aid concerts. We had the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, Space Shuttle Challenger disaster, Irona-Contra affair, Black Monday stock market crash. Soviet Union began withdrawing troops from Afghanistan, Pan Am Flight 103 bombing over Scotland, fall of the Berlin Wall. There's some pretty important things that happened during this time. Tiananmen Square protests and massacres, revolutions across Eastern Europe toppled communist governments, German reunification, Iraq invaded Kuwait, dissolution of the Soviet Union. This is a lot. World Wide Web. Okay, this interesting. Oh, snap. And Bill Clinton was elected US president 1992. The Clintons keep coming up. Yes, you're right, Julianne. The Clintons keep, I think something is definitely going to come up having to do with Hillary and Bill Clinton. Big stuff. Bosnian War. One of my ex-boyfriends actually is Bosnian and was a prisoner of war. Shout out to Sam. And he used to tell me things about the Bosnian War, and just unbelievable. Very awake from an early age. A lot of Eastern European people are very awake because of what they went through. Right? Could be truths review. Okay, interesting that the World Wide Web was introduced. We had that, what was that other thing? Apple launched Macintosh. There's a lot of important things that have to do with internet, computers. Bill Clinton was president. Los Angeles riots. Are we gonna have another Los Angeles riot? Okay, I don't want that to happen, but just saying. The astrology for Los Angeles is so freaking crazy right now. There could be cycles repeat. World Trade Center bombing in New York City. European Union formally established. Huh. Oh, yeah, this I forgot. This Mercury retrograde is going to retrograde over the Sun, Mars, and Pluto of the European Union. Wow. Okay, so there could be something major happening in the European Union. What else did we have? Nelson Mandela, NAFTA, Oklahoma City bombing, World Trade Organization founded. A lot of tech stuff. Windows 95 released by Microsoft, popularizing personal computing and internet era. I think there's going to be something, or maybe multiple things being revisited, truths being revealed about some of these historical things that happened while Pluto was in Scorpio. Vera says Bosnia war was horrific. I was there during the war. It's scary. Oh my God. Sending lots of love to you, Vera. That's really crazy. You survived that. Julianne, thank you so much for the super chat. So, yeah, it's a big energy with this Mercury retrograde. Officially started today, goes until the 29th. And I really like when we've got that grand water trine while it's in Scorpio. I think that's actually really lucky. We can get some really big clarity and healing breakthroughs. So I'm liking that. Pay attention to what do you need to get done? What have you been putting off? It's a good time to get things done that we need to. Also, this is a little bit nerdy. Here's my nerdy astrologer side coming through, but the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that we had at 22 degrees of Capricorn in January of 2020 that basically ushered in the pandemic and the whole dark night of the soul that we've been living in the past 5 years will be in an exact trine to this Mercury retrograde, sextile to this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So this Mercury retrograde, when he's around 22 degrees of Scorpio, sextile the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that we had January 2020, can bring forward even deeper, darker truths about the origins of the whole pandemic, biggest lie that's ever been projected on our world. There could be a possible total shattering of that. So there's a lot that's going to come up with this Mercury retrograde. We can definitely work through it in a very conscious way. And then on Tuesday, November 11th, that is in Canada, we call it Remembrance Day. So thank you so much to all of our veterans all over the world that have served, fighting for our freedoms. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Heather. Love you. Yeah, it's always interesting that Remembrance Day is during Scorpio season because it is heavy, right? Lest we forget. I should have a poppy on right now. On Remembrance Day, Jupiter retrogrades in Cancer. And we're going to have Jupiter retrograde from 25 degrees of Cancer until 15 degrees of Cancer. And this Jupiter retrograde is going to be from November 11th till March 10th. A long time. If you are a Sagittarius or a Pisces, Jupiter is one of your planetary rulers, so this can affect you very much so. Sagittarius and Pisces, sun and risings. With Jupiter retrograde, this is a Good time to be more in your inner world, reviewing and reflecting on your life, not forcing things to happen out in life, really going with the divine flow, really listening to your inner intuition, really making for emotional well being. What does it mean when Jupiter is retrograde? And how do we work with this transit? Well, I feel like this is an amazing time for luck through trusting your gut and your intuition. Okay. So when Jupiter's retrograde, it's not so much lucky opportunities coming from the outside, it's luck and blessings coming into our personal life. Cancer is our personal life, our home, our family, our intuition, our spiritual connection, our divine feminine side, right? Which is really, really important to foster that healthy inner world to even be able to appreciate the outer blessings when they come. So make time for home, family, emotional healing, spending quality time with family, reflecting on, do you want to start a family? Maybe you're a young person, like, not sure if you want to start a family or not. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is a good time to be thinking about that. It's also a good time to be reflecting on where you live. Do you want to move? Do you want to relocate? Looking into different options, visiting homelands. And I don't think I brought up the chart for the UK, but it's interesting that the country of the United Kingdom has its moon at 19 degrees of Cancer. So actually, let me bring that up. Another chart I forgot to bring up. Let me bring it up here. So Jupiter retrograde will be conjunct the moon in the 10th house of the UK. What I'll do is I'll actually bring this up on my astrology program here. I can't zoom in on it, but actually what I can do, can put it like this. Yeah. So when is that going to be? Let's see. When will Jupiter be back at 19 degrees? This is going to be very significant for the UK. Beginning of January. So all of January, transit Jupiter retrograde in Cancer will be conjunct the moon in the 10th house. What does this mean? Well, the 10th house of a country is the government, the politics, public reputation. The moon represents the people. Also, moon in Cancer is about patriotism, is about the people of that country. There could maybe be I know we already saw very patriotic protests happening this autumn in the UK regarding the mass immigration. I think UK may be one of the first Western countries to really fight back against the mass immigration and the illegal immigration, and the people moon might start that, could be a revolution of protecting the homeland. Also, things from the past being revealed about political royal figures of the UK. I'm sure some of you guys have heard that Prince Andrew has been subpoenaed to testify to, is it the US Congress? Let's see when that's going to be exactly. That has to do with the UK. That is a really big deal. Prince Andrew subpoenaed. Democrats in US Congress ask Andrew to appear for questioning over Epstein links. When is that going to happen? I don't see the info on that, but maybe we'll see that in January. Hopefully we'll see that before that. But that's going to be really interesting. because he's a very bad liar. If you guys ever saw that interview that he did with a amazing British journalist, it was absolute shit show where he tried to make himself look good and do damage control, and she completely exposed him, and he just looked like an idiot. That came out years ago. Might have been on the BBC or something like that. So UK will be really affected by that transit, and it will bring positive blessings. Jupiter is a benefic, right? So I think that's everything. We don't have that many aspects happening this week. We've got Sun trine Jupiter on exact Eastern time. And you guys know I like to do my astrology based on the Eastern time. It'll be middle of the night Eastern time on Monday, November 17th. So we'll leave that one for our next weekly astro weather. And before we get into our predictions for each of the 12 signs for this Mercury and Jupiter retrograde, let's pull some cards for this week ahead with Mercury and Jupiter going retrograde. What is our divine guidance? And we can really feel it when the planets station direct or retrograde. We can really feel it. May feel wonky. Okay, what's our guidance? And I'm actually going to do, how do I want to do this? I'm going to do situation, do this, don't do this, that I learned from my friend Gail. Oh my gosh. We've got the 9 of Swords is the situation, which this card can deal with over worrying, fear, and anxiety. It can be unnecessary fear and anxiety and depression and feeling low. Okay, so the situation is, is anybody feeling like that? How are we feeling out there? Because the do this is the 10 of Cups, which is a really positive card. Be open to blessings. This totally makes sense. Jupiter in Cancer, emotional fulfillment, family, home, cups, aligns with water. If you are feeling this, that is not the way to go. Okay, sorry if that sounds harsh. There's actually very positive potential here, and you need to snap out of this. Okay, especially if you're a conscious person, because the astrology of right now is saying there's beautiful blessings into our inner world, healing breakthroughs, family healing happening with this astrology right now. And this could even be something that the conscious people and the unconscious people together are processing through. Like a lot of unconscious people are very much in this. It's kind of like a fight or flight energy. I'm going to pull an extra clarifier on the situation. And this is making me, it's weird because the person in this card is in bed. And I had a situation last night where I'm a very heavy sleeper. So when I fall asleep, it's very rare for me to wake up in the middle of the night. I usually sleep through the night, and it's very hard for me actually to get up in the morning. But last night I woke up at like 5 a.m, fully awake. And I was just lying in bed, and I kind of had this feeling like something was off, but there's nothing wrong. I was just lying there. I'm like, why am I fully awake right now? Let me know if anybody else has been having this. Because if you are having feelings of deep sadness, sorrow, grief, anxiety. Um, it might not be yours. It might be the collective that we're processing, and breathe through it. Okay, process through it. I'm going to pull a clarifier on the situation. Huh. Interesting. The Four of Pentacles. So everything's okay. We're working towards our goal. We're doing a good job. I'm hearing Spirit say we're doing a good job. This is part of the process. And it is Scorpio season after all, okay, which can be bringing up our fears and stuff like that. But our do this card is 10 of Cups. Like, be open. There's actually really good energies and opportunity for emotional, home, family, magical, spiritual fulfillment and dreams coming true. But part of the process of dreams coming true is sometimes we have to revisit and reflect and take a sacred pause. Go visit the family that you haven't seen for a while. Go do that thing that you've been putting off. Okay, our don't do this card. Our don't. This is our don't do this card of Pentacles, which is interesting because this guy's been coming up lately. This is our do not do this. Okay, so there's a very big message here coming through with us getting that Nine of Swords in the present with the Seven of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles as our don't do this. Let go of fear. Let go of poverty mindset. Let go of self-sacrifice. Let go of lower energies. Okay. And it's interesting too, because I'm feeling like it actually is a really big cleansing energy with Mercury and Jupiter retrograde, because Mercury is retrograde while we have the South Node in Virgo. So Mercury is the dispositor of the South Node, which is all about cleansing and letting go. So there's a message coming through of like, yeah, you may have some intense feelings coming up. Some of them may be yours, some of them may be not yours, and just process through them. Let yourself cry, let yourself grieve, let yourself talk about things. You can't make this stuff up. Our bonus card, this is our bonus card. It's a total retrograde energy card, the Four of Swords. Rest, recoup, revisit, lay down, okay? Do not force anything right now. There's great wisdom that comes through and blessings that come through when you make time to rest for home, for family, right? With Love says, so much crying the last couple days. That's actually a good thing. And I really don't cry easily. And the other day, I think it was on Friday, I cried really intensely in a way that I haven't cried for a really long time, let alone on a live stream when I did my Friday daily astrology daily astrology horoscope video. I was crying about the ostriches that got slaughtered in British Columbia unnecessarily. And even though that actually made me feel really uncomfortable, because as a Scorpio, I don't really like to show my really vulnerable emotions. It was good. And a lot of you guys commented like, thank you for showing your vulnerability. It's safe for you to cry. You don't need to apologize for crying. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that sent me love and support. And I'm totally okay. I just, I'm happy that with my moon in Capricorn, I was able to process those feelings in real time. Right. And Crying is beautiful. We actually release toxins when we cry, right? Tooth says, "Are we sure that that happened?" Are you referring to the ostriches, Toots? Because I'm seeing some people out there saying maybe you're not referring to that, but, I'm seeing some people out there saying that the ostriches did not get slaughtered and they're being taken care of and they're physically alive and in a good place. Um, I don't believe that. I wish that were the case, but realistically, no. Uh, they got slaughtered, and it was a very dark day for Canada, and for that to have been faked, um, to say that it was faked, and I'm not directing this to you, Toots, I'm just talking in general, like, I'm seeing some people say that that was faked. I think that's extremely disrespectful to the families involved, to the ostriches, because unless you were actually physically there and know for sure that they didn't get slaughtered, like how you could say something like that, I think is really fucked up. So I don't want to have anything to do with that. Because that did happen. If you look at the emotions of the people in the video, if you've been following the rebel news journalists for months and months that have been living out of a van to report on all of that, it did happen. So anyways, discernment is really, really important, right? Neptune and Pisces, like discernment, and it goes back to Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, our beliefs. Why do you believe something? Is it because somebody told you a belief? Or do you believe something from your own actual experience of knowing from the physical experience, right? There can be a lot of beliefs being shattered with this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. Yeah, also, yes, Chicky Blue, there was aerial view of all the dead birds inside the gate. That family just lost everything. Yeah, and I wasn't directing that to you, Toots, I hope you know that. You say I wasn't saying it did or did not happen, I just have questioned everything. And yeah, we do need to question totally we need to question everything. I'm just saying some of people that are out there saying, "For sure that did not happen and the ostriches are alive," that's kind of fucking crazy to say something like that. Unless you were there, you don't know if that happened or not, right? So discernment is very important. Yeah, UI guy says the ostriches were slaughtered. It was a bloodletting into the soil, which released dark energy. This was visible to mediums. Yeah, the area had to be cleansed by the dominions. Um, yeah, and also we know from our spiritual common sense that there's darker forces that feed off of rituals. It's really here's my Scorpio side coming out. Okay, they feed off of this stuff, and they're in desperation mode. So that's why protection is really, really important right now because these darker energies are still here for the time being and they are absolutely desperate. Anyways, let's move into the 12 signs for Mercury going retrograde and Jupiter going retrograde. And we're going to start with Aries rising, sun, and moons. And I suggest you listen to your sun, your rising, first and foremost, your sun, and also your moon. Now, when it comes to the moon, your moon sign reading can be more personal, um, inner life experience. Laura says, Meg, is the rising the most important? Yes, the rising is the most important when we're looking at actually where the transit is happening, but over your chart. But the sun is also very important because you are your sun sign. In my personal opinion, I think the sun sign has the biggest influence over you. So I listen to my rising and sun, most importantly, and the moon for more personal psychological interpretations as well. So, Aries, sun, moon, and risings, you are going to be having Mercury retrograde over your ninth house, where you have Sagittarius, and your eighth house from November 9th to November 29th. And Aries, while Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, this is a time where you're reviewing and revisiting beliefs, anything that has to do with, um, you know, belief systems. Why do you believe what you believe? Teachers, guides, people you've maybe been looking up to. You could have a truth being revealed or learn something new about somebody that you've been following that actually doesn't resonate anymore, or you outgrow a teacher or a guide or a mentor. Reviewing higher courses, information you're taking in, traveling. There can be a lot of Aries that maybe have been traveling abroad quite frequently, and maybe it's time to spend more time at home. While Mercury is retrograde in your eighth house, this is a very powerful time for healing work, empowerment, secrets being revealed that empower you. There can be some intense life situations while Mercury is retrograding over your eighth house, but I think it's an amazing time for budgeting, reviewing your finances and your shared resources, and doing intuitive development as well. Mercury is also the ruler of your third and sixth houses. So these areas of life are being affected as well, which is your communication, how you communicate, what you communicate, your relationship to your local community. Definitely, Aries, be mindful of your day to day gadgets, your phones, cars, bikes, back up everything. Okay. And also, really good time to look at your health, day to day routines, wellness, fitness, and you can have some breakthroughs or revisit those areas. Could be a good time for a checkup at the doctor, the naturopath. If you haven't done that in the while, go visit the dentist. It can actually be good. Mercury retrograde in the sixth house if you've been putting something health wise off for a while. And Jupiter retrograde is going to be happening in your fourth house from now until March 10th. This is all about reviewing and reflecting on your home, family, ancestors, emotional well being, your living situation. You could be going back home after a long period of travel. It's a great time to visit family or a homeland that you are connected to, and make time for inner healing work and emotional well being. Jupiter also rules over your ninth and 12th houses where you have Sagittarius and Pisces. So I definitely feel like there can be a lot of Aries out there that have been traveling a lot, or maybe you are wanting to travel to a homeland to connect with your ancestors. Hold off on making any of those travel plans, if so, until after Mercury retrograde, November 29th, and moving forward. And with Jupiter being the ruler of these houses, these are two very spiritual houses where, while Jupiter is retrograde in Cancer, this is a great time for meditation, spiritual practices, spiritual healing, energy healing as well. So, love you, Aries. Hope that resonated, and have a great Mercury and Jupiter retrograde. Next, we've got our Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Risings. And let me know in the live chat if you guys feel like it. What is your Sun, Moon, Rising? What signs have we got up in here? I'm curious. So I've got a Taurus rising. So for all my fellow Taurus, Sun, Moon, and risings, we are going to be having Mercury retrograde happening in our eighth house where we have Sagittarius, and our seventh house where we have Scorpio. Okay, Tauruses, we are one of the signs that may be having exes, okay, lovers from the past popping out of the woodworks. This can possibly be coming up for us Tauruses as the eighth house of sex, eighth house of sex. Yes, it is sex. Eighth house of Scorpio rules sex, intimacy, merging with others. all the Scorpio sides of life, our shadow, secrets, the hidden realm. And the seventh house is our committed relationships and contracts and obligations as well. So, this Mercury retrograde is really highlighting your relationships and your merged resources. There could be secrets that you are learning about love partners, work partners, committed relationships. Um, Through secrets and shadow work, relationships can really go to the next level and go into a very powerful place. Be very careful of your communications. Not a good time, Tauruses, especially while Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio from November 19th and 29th. Not a good time to be signing important documents, contracts, if possible. Okay. And there could be a lover coming back with that grand water trine that they're healed and you're ready to be together, but not necessarily for everyone. Okay. Be very mindful where you're at, where others are at. Are you in alignment vibrationally? Are you in alignment with values as well? Um, Also, Mercury retrograde in Sag is really good for detective work, really deep research as well. We've got Mercury is the ruler of your second and fifth houses. So, Taurus, with Mercury being the ruler of your second house, while he's retrograde, it is a really good time to be doing budgeting, reviewing your finances, values, and self worth, and also reviewing the fifth house areas of your gifts, talents, and creative projects. Where can you show yourself more in work and what you share out into the world? What are some creative passions or gifts and talents that have been put to the side that are ready to be shared out into the world? If there are there children, fifth house, that you maybe need to spend more time with, make more time for? With Jupiter being retrograde from November 11th to March 10th, this is going to be in your third house. This is a time where you may be reviewing courses, information that you're taking in. It's a great time to restart any kind of writing or communication practice. And really great, this Jupiter in Cancer transit, it's very healing, nourishing, opening of our intuition as well. Taurus says this is a powerful time to maybe start something like automatic writing, journaling out your feelings, therapeutic writing, therapeutic communication, talking to a therapist if you need to, can be really good. There may be, while Jupiter is retrograde in Cancer, opportunity for you to short distance travel to family. That can be coming up. And Jupiter is the ruler of your 11th house, where you have Pisces, and 8th house, where you have Sagittarius. So, yeah, very much also about your relationships, friends. 11th house can be friends, community. You can be reviewing friendships or community associations, where you stand in those relations, and also reviewing your long term goals, wishes, and desires. What are your goals? Right? That's something very simple, but that it's very important in life, I think, for us to have goals, wishes, dreams. What are those for you right now, Taurus? And what are your steps in attaining them? Sending lots of love your way, Tauruses. Have a great Mercury and Jupiter retrograde. Geminis, la 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 la. You guys love to talk. It's so funny whenever I meet a Gemini, they just love to talk. Shout out to all the Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Risings. You are ruled by Mercury. So when Mercury goes retrograde, you and the Virgos, your sister signs, can really, really feel it. Okay. So this is a time where you may be feeling a little bit more confused, ADD, hyperactive. There can be things, going missing or breaking down, miscommunication. So, Gemini, I think it's really good to be doing some grounding during this Mercury retrograde in whatever ways resonate with you. And no, you are not going crazy if you feel like there's a lot happening at the same time. That's kind of wonky. You're going to be having this Mercury retrograde over your seventh and sixth houses, where you've got the signs of Sagittarius and Scorpio. So, this is highlighting while Mercury is retrograde in your seventh house, your committed relationships, contracts, obligations. Good time to be reviewing and revisiting them. We don't want to be signing important documents, if possible, during this time, unless it's something we pre planned before the retrograde. And when Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio from the 19th to the 29th, this is in your sixth house. And I actually love that Geminis have Scorpio in the sixth house, because Scorpio rules cleansing and detoxification, limiting toxins. So, Geminis, this is a great time to be like doing a cleanse, reviewing your health and wellness. Maybe going to speak to a naturopath, maybe, keeping up with if there's been any appointments that you've been putting off, can actually be a really good time to do that. Clean out your office space, review your work and your day-to-day routines as well. And Mercury is the ruler of your first and fourth houses. So, of course, as I said earlier, it does really affect you when Mercury is going retrograde. You can be feeling it in your physical body, very much your first house, and also fourth house in your home and family dynamics. There could be miscommunications going on with your family. You guys, Geminis, pay attention to that, because you may notice that that really does come up when Mercury is retrograde for you guys. Just weird stuff in the home, not working, delays, family miscommunications. So, yeah, it's always a fun time, but it's an invitation to take a pause, take things slow, not force anything. Jupiter retrograde from November 11th to March 10th is happening in your second house. This is a beautiful time for doing healing work and revisiting your self-worth and relationship to your values. Again, great time for budgeting as well. Sorry, guys, I've got a frog in my throat. Woo! Mercury. Oh my gosh. And Jupiter rules your 10th house, where you have Pisces, and your 7th house, where you have Sagittarius. So I can see a lot of Geminis, sorry, Jupiter rules those areas. I can see a lot of Geminis while Jupiter is retrograde really reviewing your work goals, careers, relationships. There can be blessings coming in these areas. For sure, you can be having great clarity and renewed self-worth around your purpose, who is in alignment for you to be fulfilling your purpose with during this Jupiter retrograde period. So, sending lots of love your way, and enjoy the retrogrades. We can enjoy them. Cancer, sun, moon, and risings. My Cancies out there. How are the Cancies feeling? You've got Jupiter in Cancer. And I don't know where this voice is coming from, but there's someone coming through that talks like this, and they're very excited that Jupiter's in Cancer. You've been the lucky duckies in this transit, and you're continuing to be the lucky duckies while Jupiter is retrograde in your sign from now until March 10th. And just to be clear, let me repeat this to you guys. While Jupiter is retrograde, there might not be as much outward luck and blessings. It's more inner, which is actually really cool, I think, and helps us to appreciate the outer blessings when they do come. So, Cancers, let's start with Mercury retrograde is happening in your sixth house, where you have Sagittarius, and your fifth house, where you have Scorpio. So, great time to be from now until November 29th, reviewing and reflecting on your health, your day-to-day work routines. Great time to clean out the office space. With Mercury retrograde in your fifth house, to get reconnected to your inner child, reconnected to your gifts, your talents, creative projects, passion projects, creativity. Where can we bring more creativity into your life? Are there any gifts or talents that have been put to the side? How can you bring them out more in your life? Do you want to be having children? The fifth house is children, Cancer, and you are Cancer. So your natural mothers and fathers and caretakers. Some of you may even be getting pregnant, okay, with Mercury retrograde in your fifth house. Ooh la la. I'll just say, if you are a Cancer, you are very fertile right now. That sounds kind of creepy for me to say, okay, but you're very fertile right now with these Scorpio transits. Scorpio is sex. Scorpio is one of the signs that rules fertility. You are Cancer, so you guys are usually very fertile in your fifth house, one of the sex houses. So be mindful of that. And I know that's different for everybody depending on what age you are. Mercury also in your chart rules where you have Gemini and Virgo, which is your 12th and 3rd houses. So great time while Mercury is retrograde to be doing behind the scenes work. I'm seeing this as a very creative time for you Cancers, where there's opportunity for you to bring more creativity in your day-to-day, in your work as well. Renewed creative pursuits and inspiration. And also with Mercury being the ruler of your 3rd house, reviewing your communication, relationship to social media and the local neighborhood, being very, very careful. Anything having to do when it comes to the 3rd house with gadgets, vehicles. Okay, you might want to get your appointments done for your vehicles. If you haven't already, we're going into winter in the Northern Hemisphere, depending on where you live. We have to get winter tires up in Canada when it gets to be this time of year. And Jupiter retrograde in your sign is in your 1st house. So this is a time where it's an alignment for you to reevaluate yourself, physical body, identity, your appearance, and how you show up. And I actually think this Jupiter retrograde is a beautiful time to be doing more self-love. Okay, really bringing in, how can you bring in more self-love to yourself? And we've got Jupiter is the ruler of your 6th house where you have Sag and your 9th house where you have Pisces. So during this Jupiter retrograde time from now until March, maybe some of you Canceys are visiting a foreign homeland, visiting family in a foreign country. You're reviewing courses that you've taken in the past. You're reviewing teachers or guides that you've had. Maybe you've outgrown certain beliefs as well. And with Jupiter retrograde in your 6th house, there can be blessings coming in your inner world through health breakthroughs, work breakthroughs, and blessings in your routine. Sending lots of love to our Canceys out there and enjoy these retrogrades. Leo, sun, moon, and risings. How is it going, Leo? You are going to be having Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius and Scorpio in your 5th and 4th houses. So if you listen to what I just said to the Cancers, maybe you didn't hear what I just said to the Cancers, but I said to the Cancers that they are fertile right now. That also goes for you too, Leos. Okay, so these two houses, 5th house and 4th house, both deal with children, grandchildren, pregnancy. You could be finding out that somebody is pregnant. You could be getting pregnant yourself. You could be thinking about home, family. Do you want to be having children, right? With Mercury retrograde over your 5th house, it's a great time to be renewing your creativity, creative gifts, passion projects, and your gifts and talents, sharing them in the world. We don't want to be releasing anything new during a Mercury retrograde, but thinking about once Mercury goes direct, what do we want to share out into the world more? And Mercury retrograde over your 4th house, we want to be very mindful of home appliances. Not a good time to be doing work on the home or home renovations. And being really mindful with miscommunication or issues with family members. Just a little heads up with that, okay? And you've got Mercury is the ruler of your 11th house where you've got Gemini and second house where you've got Virgo. So there can also be a good time to review and reflect, pay attention to your friends, associated groups, communities, long term goals, and also good time to be budgeting, second house, and looking at your values, self worth, physical possessions. Second house rules physical things and possessions. So this can be a really good time to clean out with Mercury retrograde over your fourth house and influencing the second, your spaces where you have physical possessions. And okay, really random. This is a totally random message, but I'm just getting a spiritual message. This is so random. There is definitely a Leo rising that is going to listen to this video, or there may be multiple Leo risings or sun or moons listening to this video that there's ancestors saying on the other side that you need to clean out your storage unit. Really random, but that message is coming through loud and clear. Leos, it's time to clean out your storage unit that's been sitting there for years and years and years that you don't even know what's in there anymore. If you have a storage unit that has like family heirlooms in it, it feels like there's spirits on the other side that want you to connect with what's in the storage unit, and you could actually find something very important in there, or even something of value in there. And even if there isn't something in value in there, physical possessions hold energy. Anything that we're physically attached to actually affects our energy body. So Leos, that's just a message for you guys. Okay, when it comes to Jupiter retrograde, you are having this transit in your 12th house. And this is actually really lucky ducky for the Leos because Jupiter is the traditional ruler of the 12th house. So I really like that you've been having this Jupiter in Cancer transit in your 12th house where he's at home. This is a beautiful time while Jupiter is retrograde from now until beginning of March for spiritual healing, introspection, blessings, and creativity through behind the scenes work, through artistry, through spirituality as well. And Jupiter rules your fifth house where you have Sagittarius and your eighth house where you have Pisces. And these are the two sex houses. Okay, Leo. So Jupiter in Cancer is all about healing and our emotions and spirituality. This can be a very powerful time for Tantra, sexual healing, deepening intimacy with yourself and, your partner. And blessings through, there's a very creative energy here. There's a very resourceful energy as well. So sending lots of love to all the Leos out there. Have a beautiful Mercury and Jupiter retrograde. Oh my God, I'm having crazy deja vu right now. Crazy. Laura says, thanks, mom and dad. Oh my God. Yeah, maybe that's for you, Laura. Jenny says, wow, August 8th this year, Leo, my U-Haul box that was held in Canada for over a year was delivered to me, new home in the States. Amazing. Time to look at that U-Haul box if you haven't already. Okay, Virgos, how's it going? You are going to be having this Mercury retrograde happening over your fourth and third houses from now until November 29th. Great time to be cleaning out your home, decluttering, be really mindful of anything that has to do with your home or family. Not the best time to be doing renovations or buying important new things for the home. Wait until after Mercury is direct. And with Mercury retrograde over your third house, you can definitely, you are a Virgo, you are ruled by Mercury. So you really feel the retrogrades very strong. You can be really affected in your mind, in your communication with your day-to-day gadgets and vehicles and all that kind of day-to-day stuff. So just double check everything, back your stuff up. Okay. Mercury rules over your 10th house where you've got Gemini, and of course your first house. So when it's retrograde, it really affects your body, your energy levels, and your work as well. Things can be kind of wonky at work. Pay attention for miscommunications there. Don't make any big work changes during this time unless you absolutely have to. And it's a good time for you to be reviewing work as well. Jupiter retrograde from now until March 10th is happening in your 11th house. Ooh, the house of gains and our wishes and dreams. This is very lucky. This is a time where you can be receiving many inner world gifts of emotional home and family fulfillment. And it's a good time to revisit your long term goals and wishes as well. Jupiter is also the ruler of your fourth house, where you have Sag, and your seventh house, where you have Pisces. So there can be inner world blessings coming in through your home and family during that retrograde, and in your personal committed relationships as well. Seventh house. Sending lots of love your way, Virgos. I know it can be very wonky with your Mercury retrograde, but you're going to get through it. Next, we've got our lovely Libras. Libras, you're going to be having Mercury retrograde over your third and second house from now until November 29th. And Libra, similar to what I just said for the Virgos, if you happen to listen to the Virgos, when we've got Mercury retrograde over our third house of the Mercury ruled areas of life, we can really, really feel it. Okay. So this is where, you want to be mindful, Libra, of your beliefs and people's beliefs being projected onto you. There could definitely be big miscommunication, misinformation, okay, with Mercury at detriment transiting over your third house. Don't just believe something just because somebody says that and they look really good on a podcast or, whatever. Pay attention to your own intuition and your own gut in the information you take in decisions that you have to make. Be very careful with travel, okay? You got Sagittarius travel sign in the third house, travel house, and Mercury retrograding over there. I would advise not to travel unless you absolutely had to, and double check everything, Libras. I like that when Mercury's retrograde in your second house from the 19th to the 29th, this is a great time for budgeting, reviewing your finances, renewed self-worth and value as well, if you want to look into that, and a great time to clean out physical possessions that no longer need to be there. We've got Jupiter retrograde happening in your 10th astrological house. This is a time where, it's good to be reflecting on your emotional feelings about your work. Do you actually enjoy your work? Does it feel good to you? Is it something that you just have to do money? How can you be doing work that you actually enjoy? Jupiter may be blessing you with different work opportunities if you want a change of scenery. Also, this Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is inviting you to rebalance your work and personal life dynamics. It can't just be all work, 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 and no play and no time with family and self-care. That is very, very important. Sending lots of love to you, Libras, and have a beautiful retrograde period. Next, we've got Scorpios. Woo, Scorpios, this is quite a doozy for you. We're having Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius and also your sign from November 9th to November 29th. While Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, this is in your second house. And this is a time where definitely Scorpios, not a good time to be making really big purchases having to do with travel or courses or foreign kind of things. You want to lay off on the overspending on the big spending purchases until Mercury has gone direct November 29th and moving forward. Great time to be reviewing your finances, budgeting, and cleaning out physical possessions that no longer serve you. Well, Mercury is retrograde in your sign. That's going to be from the 19th to the 29th. This can very much affect our health, overall well-being, appearance. We can be reviewing. It's actually a good time for us to be reviewing on how do we show up? What is our aesthetic? Um, our appearance, but also in terms of our identity. What do we identify with? And I don't mean in a woke way at all. What do you identify with? How do you show up? Right? Like for me, I show up as an astrologer and a creative and, a psychic. Maybe there's a different kind of new way I want to show up. Same for you, Scorpio. There can be a new role that we're taking on or a revisited role that we're taking on as well. Great time to be paying attention to your health also. Um, Looking at if there's anything health wise that needs to be taken care of. This can actually be a good thing while Mercury is retrograde in our sign. And there can be big secrets being revealed that empower us. While Jupiter is retrograde, this is happening in our ninth astrological house. And this is actually the home house of Jupiter. Well, Jupiter is a home in the 12th and the ninth house as well. So, this is a time where it's good for us to be reviewing and reflecting on our beliefs, our spirituality, religion, if you're in a religion, belief systems, foreign travel, foreign people, foreign things, courses, teaching. Maybe some of you Scorpios are ready to step into being a teacher or being a mentor yourself through Cancerian ruled areas of life, the healing arts, homes, properties, divine feminine topics. So I actually like Jupiter retrograde in the ninth house because this is lucky and you can be receiving a lot of inner world divine blessings for sure. And it's a beautiful time to also be traveling to homelands or visiting family or soul family also. Sending lots of love your way, Scorpio, and have a beautiful retrograde period. Next, we've got our Sagittarius, Saggy Waggies. We have got a Mercury retrograde in your sign from now until November 19th. And then Mercury moves retrograde in Scorpio in your 12th house. So while Mercury is retrograde in your sign, Sagittarius, this can definitely feel little bit wonky because Mercury is at detriment in your sign. There can be more of a propensity for not seeing things clearly, over optimism, confusion, expanding things too much. So you want to try your best, Sagittarius, to be in your realism, be grounded, be in your common sense. Not a good time while Mercury is retrograde in your sign to be making really big life decisions. And I'm a Sagittarius. I'm going to move to Bali for 2 years, even though I know nothing about it. I'm going to do it during a Mercury retrograde. No, wait until afterwards. Also, your physical body can be feeling affected by the Mercury retrograde. You may, it's the mind. So there can be possible headaches or just feeling more tired, sleep issues, stress. So grounding in the ways that resonate with you are really, really important. And good time for you to review how you show up into the world, your identity, the roles that you play in life, and maybe there's a new way that you want to show up. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is happening in your 12th house from November 19th to November 29th. And this is a very spiritual and enlightening transit for you. Okay. Scorpio in your 12th house gives you great spiritual wisdom and connection. You are Saggies after all. And Mercury transiting over the 12th can be revealing very deep secrets or truths to move you forward on your spiritual healing journey. I love this transit, Saggies, for maybe speaking to a therapist, spiritual psychotherapist, doing journaling of your feelings, of shadow work that may be coming up as well. And it's revisiting creative gifts that, behind the scenes creative gifts that you possibly do have. Jupiter is your planetary ruler and is going to be going retrograde from November 11th until March 10th. And you are having Jupiter retrograde in Cancer in your 8th house of Scorpio. Very powerful time for you to be clearing traumas that you've maybe been holding on to, uh, money issues. If you've had any money issues, clearing through abundance, blocks, those kind of things. Scorpio is one of the financial and resource houses after all. Beautiful time for cleansing and spiritual healing and reviewing intimacy, sex, and merged resources. So I love that for you guys. And also can be a good time for investing. Okay. But definitely double check everything. Maybe there can be blessings through investments that you've put in from a long time ago, or even not that long ago, can be coming to fruition in your inner world. Sending lots of love your way, Saggies. Have a very nice retrograde period. Next, we've got our Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Capricorn, you are going to be having Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius in your 12th house and in Scorpio in your 11th house from November 9th today to November 29th. This is a beautiful time to be reviewing your spiritual life, your spiritual practices, your creative side as well. And, the sign of Sagittarius in your 12th house, Sagittarius and the 12th house both deal with far away, distant travel. So, Capricorns, be really mindful if you are traveling during this Mercury retrograde. Okay. Double check everything. Do everything I've said. You might want to rewind this video. Okay. Can be a good time, like going on a retreat, going to a healing spa. This is definitely a time of self-care and renewal for you while Mercury is retrograde in your 12th house. You can have very active dreams during this period. And then when Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio in your 11th house, you may be having some people coming back from the past. You may be having some friends, community associations, past teammates coming back from the past. Creepy, crawly Scorpio crawling from the ashes. No, just kidding. But yeah, there can be people, places, things coming back from the past. Can be a good time to visit old friends, to visit an old community, place of community that you are connected to, and to revisit your goals, wishes, and dreams. Where are you on your relationship to your goals? I was talking about that earlier in the video. Goals are very, very important. If we are not living, looking forward to something or accomplishing something, and it doesn't mean you have to be the president, just, what are you living for? What are you doing? Are you in alignment with your mission? And Capricorns, you usually are very good at that, but just saying, it's a good time to be reviewing your purpose and your goals. Jupiter retrograde, happening from November 7th until March 10th, is happening in your 7th house. Capricorns, you are going to have people coming out of the woodworks. There can be people coming out of the woodworks. Mercury retrograde in your 11th, Jupiter retrograde in your 7th. There can be lovers coming back, past work colleagues, past committed relationships. So if there are people coming back, thinking about, yes, people change, but you don't have to be friends with everybody, right? Just because somebody presents themselves to you doesn't mean you have to be with them. You can be with them, just paying attention to where you are at vibrationally compared to the people showing up to you. Okay. And I also love Jupiter retrograde in your 7th for showing you how to bring more emotional and self-care to emotional well-being and self-care to yourself, but also your relationships. You guys are very hard workers, Capricorns. Is there more work-life balance that needs to be brought to your personal relationships? Something to think about. Sending lots of love your way, Cappies. We got 2 more signs, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Oh, thank you, Katie. Katie says, exactly, Meg, spot on with the caps. Thank you. I'm happy it resonates with somebody. Okay, Aquarius, Mercury retrograde in your 11th and 10th houses from November 9th to November 29th. Yeah, similar to what I just said for the Capricorns, with Mercury retrograde in your 11th from now until November 19th, you may be having some people popping up from the past, some past friends or teammates. I don't know why I'm singing, but I am. People coming back from the past. So, sometimes there's friendships that maybe just fizzled or ended and they can be renewed, right? That might be coming up. Or you might have some friends, Mercury in the 11th house, talking to you about beliefs, higher knowledge. They might be having a wake up. They might be like, Aquarius, I'm ready for your wisdom. I'm sorry I couldn't see past the matrix before. That might be coming up. Also, a good time to revisit your goals, long term wishes, and dreams while Mercury is retrograde in your 11th. And while Mercury is retrograde in your 10th, it can be a little funky in the workplace. Okay. So being mindful of communication, not launching anything new, just, it's a Mercury retrograde in your 10th house of work. And where are you at with work? Do you enjoy that? There could be secrets being revealed at work or possible power struggles with Scorpio in your 10th house. Maybe you're reviewing on you want to transform your career and step into something completely different, right? Pluto is in your sign after all. You're going through the biggest transformation transit of your life for the next 19 years. Jupiter retrograde in your 6th house is a beautiful time for reviewing from now until March 10th your day-to-day routines and how do they feel to you. Cancer is all about our feelings, our emotions. Are you getting up every day and doing yoga because that's what all your friends do and actually that doesn't make you feel good at all and you'd rather be, doing something different as your habit? Doing routines in the day that make you feel good. It is so important, Aquarians and all other signs listening, that especially when we first wake up, we do something that nourishes us and uplifts our energy. And also before bed in particular, right? So looking at your routines, looking at your health as well, Jupiter retrograde over your 6 can bring some breakthroughs having to do with your health, with your work. I like that. Maybe some of you are wanting to incorporate working from home more, working with family. There could be opportunities there as well. So, sending lots of love your way, Aquarians. Have a happy Mercury and Jupiter retrograde. Last but not least, we've got our Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Pisces, you are having Mercury retrograde from November 9th to 29th in your 10th and 9th houses. So Mercury retrograde in your 10th, and it's interesting you have Sagittarius in the 10th. There can be some battle of egos, beliefs. You can be having some intense conversations with work colleagues, really seeing people based on where they're at in their beliefs. Uh, are they in the matrix? Are they not in the matrix? Just be mindful of confrontation at work, miscommunication, um, reviewing your workspace. Is it in alignment, Sagittarius, with your higher destiny, your beliefs, your soul gifts as well? And you do have Sag in the 10th house, so there can be something lucky, a lucky opportunity coming up. You may be revisiting a lucky opportunity with Mercury retrograde over the 10th. While Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio over your 9th house, this is a very powerful time for doing research on higher subjects, researching the occult, astrology, spiritual science. You may be like really going in your inner world into a new subject, going down some deep rabbit holes. Okay, we want to stay grounded during that process, Pisces. Definitely be careful with travel with Mercury retrograde over your 9th house in Scorpio. It could get kind of weird. Okay. If there's delays or you don't have a backup plan. So some of you guys might not like me saying this. What the fuck? Okay. There's a weirdo in Rumble right now. I'm so sorry about that. I'm going to block this person right now. What is wrong with you, dude? Give me 1 second, you guys. Is that seriously what you do with your life, commenting that stuff? Okay, just blocked you. Okay. That was total like Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, this freaking weirdo in the Rumble chat saying very strange things. Anyways, sorry, Pisces. See, that's a sign. Okay. I was just talking about if there's travel, ninth house of Sagittarius in during this Mercury retrograde, and you've got Scorpio in the ninth, it can be kind of intense. And Scorpio can be like, and I am a Scorpio, so just being honest, it can be weirdos, it can be attracting intense situations. So I don't mean to freak you guys out, Pisces. I'm very protective of my Pisces. Just please be mindful if you are going to be traveling over the next few weeks, have a backup plan. You guys might not like me here, might not like me saying that. I'm just saying that to be helpful. Get the travel insurance, have a backup plan. Okay, because we're definitely going to be seeing some travel disruptions during this Mercury retrograde. And you don't want to be caught in a situation where you're unprepared, right? Wherever we have Scorpio in our chart, it's intense. And you've got it in your ninth house. Now, if you are prepared and you have a backup plan, maybe nothing will get delayed. Maybe nothing will go wrong. Maybe it'll be great. But just saying. Your traditional ruler, Jupiter, is going to be retrograde from November 11th until March 10th in your fifth house. So this can be beautiful luck and blessings coming into your inner world through creativity, spending time with children in your life, renewed gifts and talents and confidence as well. You can be emotionally really tuning into getting into sorry, guys, I just totally lost my train of thought. What was I about to say there? Really tuning into, I don't know if this makes sense how I want to say this, like emotionally feeling confident, mentally feeling confident. That's probably the right way of saying it. Fifth house of Leo is our confidence. Okay. And Jupiter retrograde in Cancer over this area, it's inviting you to maybe do some work on your confidence, your creative gifts. What do you want to share out into the world? How can you go deeper in that? Do you want to be having a family? Do you want to be having children? Pisces are one of the signs that are very fertile. Just saying. Love you, Pisces. Sorry for the disruption in there. Sending lots of love your way. Have an amazing retrograde period. Mary says, darn it, I'm traveling for a course, Pisces sun, Scorpio rising, moon in Scorpio. Okay. Now, Mary, this is where we got to look at everything together. Now, yes, you're a Pisces sun, but you're a Scorpio, you're a double Scorpio in your moon and your rising. And for Scorpios, we're having Jupiter transiting over the ninth house. So Jupiter is at home in the ninth house. Even though he's retrograde, he's the divine protector. So I'm not just saying this to you to sound good, Mary, but you're going to be okay. Okay. As a double Scorpio, you're having Jupiter transiting over the ninth house in the Scorpio charts, which is like divine protection during travel. So you're a specialized Pisces. You're going to be fine. Okay. Just please, anybody traveling, and I'm sorry that I keep repeating this, just please double check everything and have a backup plan. Jenny says, thank you, Meg. Happy Mercury in microwave. I love that. I am going to say that, Jenny. That is brilliant. Happy Mercury microwave. And I just want to pull some bonus cards on like the travel aspect of this Mercury retrograde. I'm going to pull one card on if anybody is traveling during this Mercury retrograde, what is the divine guidance For anybody traveling during this Mercury retrograde, what is the divine guidance? Oh, Ace of Pentacles. Okay. It's funny because there are going to be travel disruptions, but I was feeling that at the beginning of the video. Everything happens for a reason. And if you can't fly and you have to like take a train or take a bus or your route gets completely changed, it's happening for a reason. And there's actually a blessing in it. Okay. Especially while Mercury is in Scorpio in that beautiful grand water trine. So everything in life is a blessing, even the challenging parts, even the parts that make us frustrated. Be open to, ooh, what does this have to offer me? And also, you're going to be okay. You're not going to freaking die. Okay. Ace of Pentacles, we're going to be good. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for today's weekly astro weather, getting deep into the Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde for the collective and all 12 signs. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, consider leaving a comment below. That is really, really appreciated. And also want to shout out my husband Jens's upcoming online live lecture. It's going to be badass. Yenzi is so good at his in-depth lectures. He's written a book, The World in Transition. He's so good at what he does. This is going to be an over 3-hour lecture with time for Q&A on the truth about human evolution, lies, truth, and destiny. You can sign up. It's going to be live Sunday, November 23rd at the link below. And also, you guys, my 2026 astrology predictions webinar for all 12 signs will be going live this week. So stay tuned for that. And I want to mention, as we're entering the holiday season, that I do have on my website now available gift certificates for 1-hour astrology reading with me. So if you would like to give the gift of astrology this holiday season, that is available on my website at the bottom of the readings page. And when you give a gift certificate, all you have to do is you forward the gift certificate or you can print it off to your loved one and they will be able to schedule on their own. You don't have to worry about scheduling for them. It's a very easy process through my scheduling system on my website. So I'm very happy to be offering that. And at the moment, I am now booking into February 2026 for my personal readings. If you'd like to have a personal reading with me, check out my astrology beginners course or webinars. Those are available at my website, megmoonbeam.com. Love you all so much. Wishing you a magical Mercury and Jupiter retrograde. And I will see you all tomorrow for another daily astrology horoscope show. Bye, everybody.